what we are putting out here in Uye, you understand, is comparable and surpasses it. Of course, if there's been any growth in this institution, then we have to go back to the Professor Elise, the Senator, and of course, Emmanuel Muhozi, and of course, my deputy, Dr. Victor. So obviously, there's been a teamwork. But what is quite obvious is that when I came in December, the population, a recorded population of this university was 2,445. And as we speak today, our recorded population is 3,445, about an increase of 1,000. So it's quite obvious that increase has started, and there are a number of factors. High visibility, the willingness of the team to go out and engage with people out there. We're not there yet by any stretch of imagination, because we have the facilities, the best around this area, the best in the country. And so yes, it is, you may indicate as a first fruit, but it's only a very little beginning. I think there's more to expect over the next 1.5 years as far as this university is concerned. The name change also signals, you understand, to the world and beyond that we are not just an institute, we are a university, an exceptional university, and we are the PUR. Well, one of the things we're already doing intentionally is to ensure that we have first-class buildings in terms of our accommodation. I've schooled abroad most of my life, where I was born in England. The schooling was abroad. I've seen the accommodation there. What we are putting out here in Uye, you understand, is comparable and surpasses it. And of course, if we have world-class accommodation facilities, then we don't want to restrict it to the Great Lakes region. We don't want to restrict it just to Nigerians. We want it to be an international hub. In other words, we welcome international students. They come here, you understand, so that when people come here, they don't just get the experience of a first-class education, first-class interaction, and of course, what it then means is that this will be the place to be for researchers, for practitioners, and even for the government to come and see the experiment rather, that we are initiating here. So I think that's what I mean by hub. But it's also in line with the government's agenda. So we're actually lining up with the government's agenda, where the government wants to bring, you know, the international, the world to Rwanda. And it's one way of bringing in foreign exchange, of enhancing the economy, and of course, placing Rwanda globally. So what it tells me is that the Protestant University of Rwanda is not just the place to be. It's not that the fact that it's exceptional, but also that it's more than that. It is becoming an increasing center for attracting foreign exchange to this country, foreign students to this country, and of course the best and the brightest of Rwandese students to this country. Now, I think the first thing we are thinking of, and we've discussed it in a recent workshop that I attended on behalf of PUR, is that we want the model, peace building, or peace and development, to be a university-wide model. In fact, the Peace Club, we want to open it up to everybody and to be able to credit people that participate. When I mean credit, we credit them academically, so that it becomes like a general studies course where each and everybody has a way of sort of keying into it, you know. And we think that if everybody that comes through the PUR goes through some measure of participation in peace activities, just as you participate in Uganda, that sort of thing, then of course, when they leave this place, when they leave Uye or when they leave Karongi, they can take these ideas, they can take what they've learned and the competencies into their workplace. I think that's one way in which we're trying to do it. We're also trying to support CRASPIT in terms of facilities. I mean, yes, they have a center here. We're thinking, how can we improve the center? How can we get better accommodation? How can we get better staff? And I think we are committed, at least, to even as a university, bringing in additional staff, you know, into CRASPIT so that we become a world beater. We want it to become a consultancy. We want it to become the place where the government comes to when they need consultation or when they need research or when they need ideas about peace building. We want it to be where the Great Lake countries come to. We want it to be where Africa comes to. We want it to be where the world comes to. And of course, it will only come if we invest and of course, if our curriculum is quite adequate. And I think we engage the community, not just because the government wants us to. It's the agenda of the government, but it's also our agenda. Because we can only be great, we can only say we are PUR, you understand, when the community is with us. If the community is not with us, then we become an isolated ivory tower. And there's no connection between us and the village. It used to be say town and the gown. In our case, we are surrounded more by villages, so engagement between the ivory tower and of course the villages. And of course, from a practical point of view, we learn from them, but also it improves our curriculum because we go out into the community and we come back in. We are determined, we had a program for tree planting, we are determined to continue with that so that we can continue to be relevant to the community. We are determined to continue to sponsor, there's a family building that we built, and then we'll make sure that that building is maintained somewhere in the village. We are determined to continue with that because it's part of our contribution and it's part of what makes us exceptional.